having a firmed up schedule, at least penciled in your diary in that first week or two, mapped out as best as you can, it goes a long way to hitting the ground running. Hi everyone, Rob Crop here from Pravar Group. Welcome back to another episode of The Trade, Dan. Great to have you back, Dan. How's things?
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, very well, thank you. Hi everyone. Can't believe we are now tipping into December. It's amazing how quick this last quarter has gone.
I know, it's the home stretch, and it's kind of really the essence of today's episode, which is all about how to finish 2024 strong and really getting the most out of the Christmas break. But today we're going to come and talk to you a little bit about how do we maximize this final month of the year. And it's one of those things where the finish line is so near, Dan. Everyone can almost see it, touch it, feel it, but it feels so far away for a lot of trades business owners, doesn't it?
It does. It does weird things to people when you start mentioning end of year, especially in our industry. And we see a lot of weird and wonderful things going on and what guys try and put themselves through in this last 4 weeks. So I think there's a lot of work that can be done, a lot of good work that can be done. And if they get it right, it's chalk and cheese between how some people finish off the year and others. And hopefully we can explain why that is today.
I think because when you talk to any tradie, December is just one of the craziest months. Like increased workloads, looming deadlines, unrealistic expectations from customers. You're trying to do a full month's worth of workload in 3 weeks. Not to mention, it's been a long year for a lot of people. And so a lot of people are tired, worn out, busted from what has already been a big year. But I think it's just that month of deadlines in December. It just adds that extra layer of pressure in the pressure cooker, doesn't it? And I think it's like people can see the looming break. They can see that Christmas is so close, yet so far for a lot of people. And it's really important to remember that now's not the time to take your foot off the pedal. And if you get this period wrong, it can really hamper your ability to start the next year strong. But if you get it right, it enables you to finish so well, have a good break, and it sets the tone for a really good start to next year, doesn't it?
It does. Like I said at the start, it's chalk and cheese for when you finish the year strong versus just collapsing in a heap. And I think there's the idea that tradies are nice guys. Most of them are trying to do the right thing by their clients, and the demands and expectations are all in there. And I think there's a whole lot of stuff, like you're probably tired, stressed, worn out, but that's going to be symptomatic of a whole lot of things that have gone on through the year. Things like not managing your time, your energy, your priorities well enough. And I think now's not the time where we're going to go into that right now. What we're going to do in this episode is really, we'll cover that stuff in future episodes and how we can be more productive with our time. But what we're going to do today is really, how do you make the most out of the time that's left in 2024 and set yourselves up for an even better 2025?
Yeah, it was when you get this right, your pipeline's full, your cash flow's solid, you and your team are rested, and you absolutely hit the ground running. Rather than starting 2025 behind the 8 ball, you actually start the year on a really solid note. Because when you start the year on the wrong foot or behind the 8 ball, it actually takes the first 3 to 6 months to actually catch up to be able to get to square even. And we've seen that so many times with clients where they haven't started the year right and it's taken so long to recover. And that's why this next few weeks in front of you, it's the last part of like a marathon race. It's how you finish it. I know the tank is empty, you're worn out, you're tired and busted, but you just got to dig deeper here. And this is it's a test of what you've got really as a business owner, doesn't it?
It is. It's really that strength of mind. And every time we do this, I'm reminded of a guy. You speak about the crazy times, the strong finishes, and really mind over matter. A guy called David Goggins. Some of you might know him from his books and some of the stuff he's done on YouTube over the years. But he's got a quote that says, when you think that you're done, you're only 40% into what your body's capable of doing. And he does some crazy shit, let me tell you. But that's just the limits that we put on ourselves, is where he finishes. And I think for us coming in, I'm always reminded of that when we do this last bit of the year, because really you've got to get that discipline. You've got to have that mental strength to put away the noise, which is everywhere, that everyone's looking forward to a break, that everyone is tired. Just because they are, and just because you might be a bit tired, a bit worn out, there's a lot going on, you've got to rise above that. So this idea and reminding yourself that, hey, I've only got 4 weeks to go. I can do anything for 4 weeks. I've just got to really knuckle down and be strong in my mind to get myself through this period doing the right things. I think is it's just a good little reminder of what can be done in the last 4 weeks to set you up. Like you said, it compounds for the next 3-6 months. It reverberates through into next year big time.
Correct, and it's only the 5%ers. Like, it's making that extra sales call. It's having that meeting when you couldn't be bothered. It's following up on a quote that's outstanding. Like, if you make those little 5% efforts in the next few weeks, it can be the difference between breaking even or having a loss period, or not recovering the invoice, or not getting paid from an overdue account. Those little 5% actions can be the difference between finishing strong or just finishing way behind the eight ball, and you just spend months trying to recover. So now's your test. Like, you got to dig deep now, and just got to remember that the body doesn't go where the mind doesn't push it, and you've just got to find an extra gear and get on with it.
Love it. Absolutely. So let's get specific, though. We talked about the 5%ers. I think everyone intellectually understands the need to finish strong. Let's get specific on what we recommend. We hear this from questions all the time. One of the biggest questions we get asked is, well, you talk about this, but what do you actually recommend we do? What do we focus on to round out the year well? And I think the first one for me is always, let's get our invoices and claims submitted.
Yeah, this is a big one, and it's one of those things where time is of the essence leading into Christmas. Now's not the time to fall behind on your invoicing. As soon as a job is done, get the invoice out. If you're in the maintenance and service game, get the job done, get the invoice out, get paid straight away. If you're in the project space, you've got to get your claims submitted. You've got to get the invoices out the door. If you've got retentions hanging over for the last part of this year, get them clawed back. Like, now's the time to get invoices out on the desks of your clients, your customers, your project managers, whoever you do work for. Now's the time to get it out in a timely manner into their systems, so it gives them time to pay you, because now's the time you really want to get the invoices out and paid before everyone breaks for Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, speaking of getting paid, there's also the debtors that you've already got. So another one for us is debtor management. Talk a little bit about what we mean by debtor management and how it plays in this period.
Yeah, we've got to remember we run a business and not a bank. And again, time is of the essence leading into December, because Christmas falls at a funny time this year. It's actually midweek. And so everyone's going to be breaking most likely that Friday before. And then even a couple of days before that, if you miss pay cycles, then if you don't get paid by, say, 18th, 19th of December, you're not getting paid till mid-January, till everyone's back. And so that period in the first 3 weeks of December is super important to be able to climbing all over your accounts receivable, to be able to get the money in your business, not hanging out in your customers' hands. Because if you don't get paid before Christmas, you're waiting at least 3 weeks to get paid until mid-January. And we've got to remember, cash is the lifeblood of any business. And over this Christmas period, cash flow is always tight for so many business owners. So you've got to get money in the door before Christmas breaks. Otherwise, you're waiting for way too long in the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned it there. Cash flow is absolutely critical over this period. We've talked about getting cash in, your cash receipts, your receivables. Let's talk about a bit more generally now, managing cash flow over the period. The need to actually look at what you're going to be paying out as well as what you're bringing in. It's really important that you're all over when money's going to be coming out of your business.
Yeah, this is always a hard part of the year, because you've got everyone's chasing you for cash. So you've got to remember, people are going to be climbing all over you to get paid. It also means that you're going to be paying payroll over a period where no money's coming in if you're having a shutdown period, or running a skeleton crew. So wages are running at normal, but revenue's dipped. And so during this period, there's always an imbalance around money coming in versus money going out. And then we get to the new year, and then you're trying to kickstart the new year. You're trying to buy materials, get everyone cranking along, and then BAS hits in February. So in this December, January period, it's always really tight. So you've got to be all over your cash flow, managing money coming in, climbing all over your debtors to be able to make sure they get paid you get paid on time, but then you've got to be really strategic of the money flowing out of your business and keep a good eye on your cash flow going out. So ensuring that you can still keep paying wages, keep the doors open in what is notoriously a challenging time for most business owners.
Yeah, I think it also reduces the stress levels as well. If you've got a plan around this, you know what those big bills are, you know what you've got to pay out, those calls that come in randomly, you haven't got that sort of dread around, is this another bill one coming in? How am I going to pay it? What do I need to do again? And you're getting broken up in your break that's coming up. So I think having your cash flow planned out, at least in terms of what's coming in, what's going out at a high level for those big amounts, is a big one to reduce the stress of trying to manage things or juggle things on the fly.
Yep. Money is one of those things where it's one of the biggest psychosocial stresses that we all have, because there's not one area of life that money doesn't touch. And the last thing you want to be doing is going on to your Christmas break, worrying about cash flow around, do I have enough money for to wages, and do I have enough money to come back to at the start of the new year? It's just one stress that you don't want, because if you're on your break worrying about stress, you're not going to be present with your family because you're going to be worried about cash flow, or you're going to feel like you have to get back into work to be able to keep the money rolling through. So it's the timings of the essence to plan for it, have a plan and plan early, so it eliminates the pressure of the stress during the Christmas break.
For sure. Absolutely agree. That speaking of having a plan in place, I think the next one is, let's turn an eye to January as well. And I think when we talk about this, we've talked about the money side, the finance side. Let's talk about the operational side and having a plan in place for that January schedule. And in particular, I'm keen to talk about the scheduling and what you're doing with your guys on the ground in that January period.
One of the most important things you can do is firm up your schedule for January before you go on break. We're big advocates of having running skeleton crew over the Christmas break if you've got the ability to do it. And so that just at least allows money to keep trickling in over the Christmas break. But having a firmed up schedule, at least penciled in your diary in that first week or two, mapped out as best as you can, it goes a long way to hitting the ground running.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. Materials is another one. We need to make sure we're on top of those as well as we start planning out this January. There's nothing worse than you put those guys in place and then you're getting phone calls from them going, where's the stuff I need? Has it been booked? Have we got stuff on the ground? That's another one to look at, is your material ordering and purchasing.
What are we going to do around making sure they're safe and secure? What's a tip that you got there for guys that's important to remember over the break as well?
I think in terms of materials, it's really sitting down and sitting, if you've got them, your operations manager or your leading hands, just get your team around and really have a good idea around, well, what do we need to plan for? And are we ahead of the game in here? Does everyone know where they need to be? Have we looked after what we need to in terms of ordering? And talk to your suppliers as well. Make sure you firm stuff up. Don't just take it as read, because remember, we talked about the chaos of Christmas. You're not the only one. You're not special in that regard. Everyone's got the same pressures, demands, and things go sideways really quick in this time. So really look after your supply of materials by calling up suppliers. It's a good time as well, as we always remind you guys, to build relationships and look after yourselves in that sense too. But really talk to your suppliers and make sure they've got everything sorted as well. It's time to double check, lock it down, because it pays dividends. Like we said, everything you do right in December pays off for months coming into January, February, March.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you work on job sites wherever it is across the board, make sure your materials are locked up, they're safe. Break-ins and everything over the Christmas period when people aren't working is quite high. So make sure that your materials if you're pre-purchasing things, be wary of your cash flow, but also make sure that you've got all your materials locked up in a safe location so you aren't susceptible for robberies and all those types of things.
Yeah, absolutely right. Next one, last one, probably in this sense, in terms of finishing strong, we've called it have a spring clean. It's probably more like have a Christmas clean, but let's talk through some of the stuff that we see that just makes all the world a difference. It lets you feel good when you've done it. It's a really feel good one, this one, and I love doing it too. I desperately need it in my office, but have a Christmas clean. What do we mean by that?
Yeah, this is where you get your team involved. You get them in and clean out the trucks and keep them nice and tidy. You restock your trucks with materials and supplies and take stuff back to wholesalers if you need to and get credits back. It's cleaning out the warehouse, giving everything just to freshen up. In the office, you can clean up desks, clean up your office environment, cleaning out your inbox. It's cleaning up your desktop, which is what I'm pretty guilty of, having an overflowing desktop and everything. It's just one of those things where you can have a Christmas clean, as you say, rather than a spring clean, just to freshen everything up and just just decluttering. And it's just a great way to get ready for a fresh start to the year. It's freshen up, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's again that thing about less to think about. There's less moving parts in your world. There's less to dos. There's less of I shoulds. And if you can get rid of some of those I shoulds that are simple, like your desk or your ute or whatever it is, the warehouse, it all adds up to a nicer break in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. I so agree.
All right. Speaking of break and getting to the actual break, we've talked about finishing the year really strong and how we set ourselves up for next year. There's this little gap in the middle called the Christmas break. Let's turn our attention and have a look at what we can do to relax, rest, and reflect. We're big on this, and I think the idea of having a plan, or at least an idea of what's going to be enjoyable for you, what you're looking forward to, making sure that you've got something that's going to energize you as you think about this break, rather than, like we said before, a whole heap of stuff you should do. It can't just be a to-do list in the break that you're looking to, or the shit you got to go through with family, or whatever it is you deal with in your particular world. Everyone's got stresses over this time, but we can balance that out by being a little bit better planned and being sure that we've got something that we're looking forward to do either by ourselves or with our families.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than having a holiday and you just jam pack it with activities that you get to the end of the break and you're more tired, worn out than you were before you started. And so really it's about actually having a break. That's one of the most important things you can do, is make sure you have a breather and rest and recharge and top up the tank from an energy side of things. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to get back to the start of January and you're going to be busted before you even start the start of the new year. So making sure you actually have a break and take some time out for yourself is super important.
Yeah, I know. I think we've all got those moments or those rituals that we've got that would signify we're now on break. And I can't stress enough to have that. If I think about myself in terms of the break, it's something around the pool. It's the pool's got to be clean, and there'll be that thing. I usually go to Bunnings and buy a shit Lilo or something like that for the kids. And that's almost like all right, it's now officially off time. When I'm buying shit Lilos at Bunnings, it's off time. I think that's just a little idea about just having that ritual. I know for you, you've got yours. Maybe talk about what yours is, or how you have that enforced sort of moment where you go, right, this is it, I'm off.
Yeah, for me, it's actually turning the phone off between Christmas and New Year's. I've been guilty of it where I've shut it off a bit too early, and Jack's like, turn your phone back on so your family can get in contact with you, kind of thing. But for me, it's like as soon as Christmas is done and you've celebrated Christmas with everyone and you've made your phone calls and sent your texts and everything, it's come Boxing Day for me, it's like boom, phone off. And it's that week between Christmas and New Year's, it's off for me. And I generally let those nearest and dearest to me know if there's an emergency. Talk to Jackie; she can get in contact with me with that way. But it's just a great way to deload and unplug from the world. It's kind of nice. I love it.
It is, and it's amazing how little you miss in that moment as well. Like when you really boil it down, you turn it back on, it's like, all right, I didn't miss much. It's all good. And it's not that you're trying to say, well, forever I could just leave it off, but it's amazing how people kid themselves into thinking that the whole world's going to end if I haven't got that phone turned on, or if I do switch off, I'm going to miss something. So they stay permanently switched on, and it doesn't help.
Yeah, and the next and going further from that, it's so important that for me, that's my detox. That's my digital detox around that time. But that also coincides with making sure that you don't get sucked into the overindulging of the festive period, because I think the danger of the festive period is you just go to excess in terms of food and eating and drinking and overconsumption. I do love consuming beautiful food around Christmas time, around lots of stone fruit and big desserts, and I love a good wine and champagne and nice red wines and having nice big big Christmas lunches, especially when we go to Jack's family, and the turkey and the roast meat and the parfait and all the desserts come out. It's like, I love indulging in that. But I think you've got to be wary around that period to be able to go, all right, that's been Christmas. Now let's actually not overindulge for the whole period of the 2 or 3 weeks, whatever you're having off. Otherwise, you just come back to the new year feeling yuck, don't you?
You do, and I think you've got to have that mindset of there's nothing wrong with that, but there's got to be a moment where you sort of call it for what it is. There's that idea of there is too much, there is overindulging. Be honest with yourself. Go Christmas Day, great, go berserk, have fun, enjoy it, but don't make it Boxing Day and then all the way to New Year's, because then it'll be back to work. So I might as well, and then everything I wanted to do is out the window. I might as well just let it all hang out for about a week and a half and then see how I feel, because you'll feel like shit. So I think we talk around carving out time to top up your tank rather than just overflow it. And it doesn't have to come with just sort of sitting there and accepting just meals and alcohol and stuff. Think about what you'd like to do. Go for a hike, play a game of golf. If it's camping with the kids or fishing trips, I know you love fishing trips, Rob. Don't come back from the break busted. Fill your tank up so that you're energized by the things you're doing as well. Really plan and carve out that time and defend it. You've got to look after it, because it's no different to work. People will fill it in for you if you don't take the time to do it for yourself.
Yeah, for me, it's potter out in the garden. It's clean up around the house. It's get out in the garden and mow the yard and trim the hedges and do some weeding and plant some plants, go to Bunnings, do all those types of things. Like that's it for me. We do a few day trips. We personally don't often go away a lot over Christmas. We might go and see my family up in Queensland, or we stick around here, and Jack's family is all really close down here around where we are. So for us, we keep it pretty low key, do a few day trips, but it's just nice to unplug and just do some quiet things. We love it as a family. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. Just bunker down and just enjoy the time together. Speaking of enjoying time together, I think the other one we talk about a lot, which is it's underrated, I think, because when you do it, you can't believe you haven't done it more over the years. I certainly found that. But having a celebration dinner with your partner, really talk about this. This is one of your favorites, and I think it's, as I said, it's an underrated one that a lot of guys enjoy once they do it.
Yeah, we've got it in an episode coming up around the importance of reflecting on your year that's been. And part of that process is it's doing your last year in review and looking for all the great things that have happened, celebrating the good things, reflecting on the positive momentum that you've made, the projects you've done, your achievements, how you've grown your leadership, grown yourself. What are you proud of? We'll talk through that in an up and coming episode. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But a big part of that is also showing gratitude and appreciation for those near and dear to you. And I think it's one of those important activities to go and have time carved out with your partner to say thanks. I know that I wouldn't be able to achieve what I achieve in business without the support of Jack and what she does on the family front, and just her moral, emotional support. As like they ride the waves of emotions in business, even though they may not be as heavily involved in the business as we are as business owners. So it's just a great opportunity just to go out for a nice lunch or a nice dinner and go through the things that went well and just say thanks and show some appreciation. Buy some flowers, go for lunch, and yeah, just show some appreciation. It definitely goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure. We often have a rule and a joke at Pravar, don't say Rob said, but this is one of those Rob saids, which is actually one worth doing. And you can say that Rob said, because he loves all the partners and wives telling him how good it was that he told the husbands to take their wives out to dinner.
Yeah, it's just understated the importance of it. And
yeah,
as blokes in business, we can't achieve what we achieve in business without having a great family unit around us. It's just impossible. And I know that the better that family's been, the more successful I've been in business. There's a direct correlation. And so it's just that opportunity to say thank you. And I really appreciate everything you've done and been there for all the support. So guys, Rob says, get out there and get it done. It's one of those important things you must do at this time of year.
totally agree. Yeah, love it. The other one I want to mention is remember to be a dad. We talked about in episode 37 the difference between being a dad and being a parent with that great conversation. I think this is a big one as well for guys. Remember to be a dad over the break.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you just got to. It's your opportunity just to tune out from the world and business for a little period of time and just have fun with your kids
Mm.
and do stuff that they want to do and ask them. It's like, right, what do you want to do for the day? Let's go and get it done. And it's your ability to not plan things and let them plan the times and spend quality time with them, because what it shows you is that at the end of that Christmas break, I guarantee you'll have such strong bond with your kids. It shows you what's possible, because your
Mm.
kids won't want you to go back to work at the start of the new year, because they'll be like, Dad, do you have to go to work? And that'll be because you're an awesome dad over the Christmas break. So don't lose the opportunity. Don't lose the opportunity to be an awesome dad over the Christmas break and spend some quality time with your kids. It's such an important time.
It is. We've had some amazing things happen with that sort of let your kids plan a day. I remember clients where I've said it to them and they're like, oh, really? They're going to want to go somewhere to be ridiculous. It'll be expensive, whatever it is. I'll never forget one of them came back and it was literally, can we go out and water the garden? That was the kids' whole plan was just let's do gardening for a day because they'd seen their dad doing that and pottering around. So those sort of things, don't take them for granted, but let your kids tell you what they want to do and really dive into it with all the enthusiasm and the excitement and watch what happens as a result as you spend that time together doing what they want first. It's really powerful. Other guys have built, I know they've ended up building a day that started out with one client was like a little fort they were going to build, and it ended up being a full-blown tree house and cubby house and all kinds of stuff. So really go on that adventure with your kids, but let them lead the way and see where you get to. It'll be well worth it, I promise you.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I know we say a lot in coaching that, and we've said it heaps on the podcast. You've got all the time in the world, but the reality is time is very precious. And when you've got kids, and your kids are a little bit older than mine, is that by the time your kids are 18, the majority of the percentage of time you'll ever spend with them, and there's stats of like by the time they're 12, you'll spend like 75% of them. By the time they're 18, you spent like 90% of the time with them, because when they get to a certain age, they want to go and live their own lives. And I love seeing those quotes because it reminds me that Christmases are numbered as a family unit. That's what it reminds me. And that I know Grace is 5, and so there's still a number of years in front of, and Maddie's 3 and Ben's just turned 1. So we've got a lot of Christmases in front of us, but it's not a lot of Christmases in the whole scheme of things, because the moment they start getting to a certain age, they won't want to hang out with Jack and I. They're going to want to go and have their own partners and spread their wings and go and rotate around families and all those types of things. So don't lose sight that your Christmases with your families are numbered, and you've got to make it count. Make the most of these Christmases in front of you, especially those with kids.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get those back. So yeah, no, really good point. And I think that leads in probably a bonus tip as we round this one out, and that is don't forget to buy your Christmas presents early. Now that's a very relative term. I know some people are they'll already have this sorted. Wives will have this sorted. I think Jack and Carly, my wife, they're Christmas freaks. They love it. They've probably already bought this and done this well and truly long ago. But please get your Christmas presents bought early.
Are you when do you often buy?
Oh, I'm a real whatever when you know how you get those emails saying if you want your Christmas presents here on time, you've got to order today. That's sort of me moving into almost Christmas Eve. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't be lying if I said I've done the midnight run to the shopping centre and made a night out of that as a bit of a fun thing to do. But really, it's just me covering to get something done and bought.
Our my home office is at the front of the house, and Christmas presents start rolling in October in our household. And it's definitely not from me doing the purchasing. That's Jack buying for the kids and whatever. But I'm a bit of a December shopper, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think as long as you and I aren't left to do Christmas by ourselves, we're in good shape. But if we were, I think it'd be a mad rush.
It's because we're transformed Grinches. That's why.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. And don't forget your partner either. Really, really look after it. Ask questions if you're stuck. Just the thought that you can put into getting it, the effort that you put in will be well respected, and it's just a really good time to again show that gratitude for everything that goes on in your world outside of what you're doing in business every day. So really, really important. I think, Rob, that sort of covers us. So maybe just a real quick recap in terms of what we did. Really go back and listen to those things we talked about for finishing 2024 strong, those strategies that we talked about, those key things. Get all that locked away and set yourselves up. And then focus in and have a plan for resting, relaxing, and reflecting on the year that's been, and have a really good break. So let's wrap it up there. Let's leave it there with some key takeaways. I've really enjoyed this. I'm now actually looking forward to a break, which will be really nice. But key takeaways from this one, Rob?
Yeah, number one is let's get the job done and see the year through. Make sure we go back and you listen to those few dot points that we spoke around how making sure you finish the year strong. So now's not the time to pull up stumps. Absolutely see the year through. Make sure you get a relaxing and restful Christmas break in. It doesn't happen by chance. You've got to get in there and design it and plan for how you want to be able to spend it. And it might feel like this episode is adding things to your already overflowing plate, but just remember that this is your ability to finish strong, have a good break, and start the year even better, which is so important so that you can ensure that 2025 is your best year yet.
Terrific. I love it. Yeah, it really is. This is the important stuff, guys. If you're looking at what's urgent, it's everywhere around you right now. But what's important is all the stuff that we've covered off. We've seen it time and time again. So really hook in and get it right is all we can say.
Good stuff. I love it. Now, if you're wanting to have 2025 as your best year yet, let's have a call and see what we can do to be able to help you and see if you're the right fit for Pravar as well. Now, we've closed enrollments for clients starting their coaching journey in 2024. We locked that down in October, so we're not taking on any new clients to start in 2024, but we do have some spots available to take on new clients starting in early in 2025. So if you're looking at making 2025 your best year yet, and you're wanting to really start on a really positive note, let's jump on a strategy call. Let's map out the 2025 calendar year. Let's put the plan in place, and let's see if you're a good fit for coaching. And if you are, let's crack in and make it an absolute belter of a year ahead. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and looking forward to coming back to you next week with a cracker.
See you soon.